Hey there, welcome to the channel. So today I want to take a look at a few things, plus also home purchase agreement cancels. All right, so here we can go to Redfin. This is actually kind of cool. They have their news and they have a bunch of data here, but they're reporting that some home buyers are backing out of deals as a slowing housing market gives them more room to negotiate. Others are being forced to renege on contracts because of higher mortgage rates. Now, what's interesting here is that they're talking about there's about 60,000 home purchase agreements fell through in June, and that's nearly 15% of homes that went under contract. And so they go further to point out this is the highest percentage on record, with the exception of March and April of 2020. So we can look at the chart here and you can see that, yeah, this is pretty high. But what's interesting as well about this is that, this is on a slope up. So it's kind of like still sloping up. And, it's, yeah, kind of interesting. Like here, we had the pandemic, right? And so basically when they shut everything down, all the home purchase contracts just got stopped because they were just like not showing homes. So no one was leaving their house. So you see this huge spike up, but then it quickly kind of dropped off as, it became like, okay, well, we have to find some way of dealing with this and letting things go through. And then, of course, after they sent everyone home, then everyone started to want buy homes. And so the sales actually went up. So this all kind of happened. So this time was a little different. This was like a really sudden thing. And just as a reminder, when you're talking about what was happening then, for example, I'm in San Diego and I would always take my like autistic son to basically Fiesta Island. I take a drive out there and then we go run around. And it's a big open place, which obviously they should never shut down. But at this time, they're just shutting everything down. So they're basically like police, like coordinating things off, kicking people out of their little spots on the beach. It's silliness. But so the point that I'm making, there was all this mass silliness going on, this crazy stuff going on. So they were just like, okay, well, we're not going to show homes. I was like, okay, so how are homes going to close, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of crazy stuff was going on. So this here is very different, right? So this is, at this 15%, this is a much different situation. This is more of a more steady increase. And it's most likely due to the interest rates going up. I mean, it's making it much more harder for people to buy homes. So I just have that feeling this is another one of those signs that, the economy is basically slowing down a lot faster than I think a lot of people realize, especially maybe the Fed. Another thing, since I'm in the Southwest, I'm going to track my water level here of Lake Mead. Man, it just keeps going lower. Like, come on, dude, just like dump some water out of Lake Powell and put it down there, guys. Come on. All right, that's a disaster. Interesting here on interest rates. So looking at the 10-year yield, this is almost like, hey, did we get to this place finally where we have, rates are going to come off a bit, trying to draw some trends. I don't know. But what you kind of see here is it's almost like you have a little neckline here. You have this almost like little topping pattern, a short-term topping. You kind of see this little head and shoulders, see how it came back up to 3.1 and now we're starting to head down. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we start coming down and then we crack, if we crack the 2.7% on the 10, then we probably open up and get to go down a little more, probably all the way down to 2%, something like that. So that is kind of an interesting thing happening with the rates. And then the implication is, well, why are the rates going down? Is this inflation expectations? Could be. But on the other hand, it could just be trying to escape the stock market, So like we talk about all the cross currents, there's this element of like, okay, I need to be in stocks, I can have some in cash, or I need to be in bonds, I need to be in something. So there's money being sloshed back and forth between, the bonds and the stock market. So at this time, given the performance of the stock market, you could make an argument for why there might be some money moving into bonds. And interesting about that too, given the fact that the bonds have come off their most recent highs here, you can kind of, maybe that's pointing to, a decline in the stock market coming. And maybe with the setup going on for CPI this week, maybe it's not going to be good. And then the other thing that was going on too is like, remember, last week I'd point out some of these little W's, right? And so I was out there I'm trying to just kind of look and see what's happening. Are we getting to get some little bases and things like that in some of these stocks? And you can kind of see how you have this big resistance area at 46 on ARC. And well, what happened is ARC got beat up today. So really in the big picture, even though it started to peak out, and right over there, you can see how it just kind of peaked out, but then it failed. So it's sort of looking that it's like, okay, it's really a failed breakout. And it's really, this one here is due to this Tesla. This is kind of interesting. So Tesla down today. Why is it down so much? Okay, so Elon, he's trying to terminate the deal. He's not going to be able to. I would strongly doubt that he's going to be able to do it without a lawsuit. So basically, he's got, there's an agreement like $1 billion. He needs to forfeit $1 billion if he doesn't go through with the deal. However, on the other side, at least the comments from the board on Twitter is they're planning on forcing him to buy it. So this would be a case of probably something like Specific Performance, and they try to force him to buy it at the original buyout price, which was at the 44 billion, which is in the 50s, right? So I don't know why it's like, maybe what this is reflecting, and we're speculating, but maybe they're reflecting that, okay, now there's even less certainty. Because, for example, if he had gone in and they'd followed through on buying Tesla at a reduced price and they negotiated something, then at least there'd be certainty there. But now he's might get dragged through a bunch of lawsuits. So that's kind of interesting. So I wonder, and the result being like, okay, he's got this $1 billion termination, he shouldn't have to, he raised money. He's a guy, raised money. So I don't think he would have had to put it up himself, but maybe they're thinking he might have to unload some stock there. This is another one interesting too, this CRISPR, because this dude, like this one, just like we had, you have this kind of consolidation period, and it did break out a little bit. See that? Just a little bit of breakout, but now it's down back below it. So it's another case of that we're not breaking out. It seems like some of this stuff that's kind of, at least for now, it was looking like it was trying to form some kind of a case where it could break out of something, but it appears that the breakouts are kind of failing right now. So that could be a little bit ominous, for what's going ahead, at least in the short term there. So I think that was it for that, except UNG, at least the ETF, it kind of stuck. It's it's stuck. It was up 7% today. So that kind of worked out okay. The UNG, like this, I don't know how this is going to play out, because, it's very clear that the natural gas pipeline being shut off. So it's being supposedly shut down for maintenance. And, the big question is, are they going to turn that pipe back on or not? You would think that would be bullish for like natural gas, but the problem is like, we're totally almost disconnected markets. I think, natural gas here in the US is very disconnected from natural gas in Europe. You have LNG, those ships that they can, compress it and put it on there, but that's such a tiny amount. I mean, it's such a small amount that, we essentially have disconnected markets. So they could be paying, they could be paying 10, 20 times as much for it, but I'm not going to necessarily see it reflected in the price of this UNG ETF. But maybe it'll see a little bit, but I'm kind of skeptical of that. Taking a check on wheat here. Big outside day on this, at least this wheat fund there. So it looks like wheat's kind of going down. And then just let's check our Bitcoin here. Yeah, our Bitcoin is trickling back down, So, we really have up in here, this it's just sort of solidifying that this 28K region is going to be maybe significant resistance, it's just, kind of forming up that way. And so now we've come up here, got 22. So you see, you failed at 22, failed to get above at 22. You haven't broken below, you still higher low, but you're coming down again. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good. It's starting to go down again. So it doesn't really look very encouraging for Bitcoin there. And keeping in mind that all the Bitcoin stuff going on with it, all the crypto stuff going on, the question is, with all these entities that are in restructuring, various forms, right? They could be in a reorg or they can be in a liquidation, the three arrows and the companies related to that, and the other companies that, we don't know about yet that are something's going to happen. It very well could be more selling pressure on these cryptos because, as I was saying before, it's like, no judge is going to approve anything that like distributes crypto, and as payment for the assets is going to have to be in dollars, so what that means is, like, if there's anything there, if there's any bitcoins left on any of these entities that have these issues, these bankruptcy issues, the judge is going to make them liquidate into dollars and pay in dollars. And so at some point I would expect that wave to come, but that's going to be further. I think it's the next wave to come is just whatever the next hedge fund, crypto, whatever, blah, 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 that blows up that we don't know about. They kept the lights on somehow and we don't know about it. All right. So I think that's it for this one. Talk to you later. Bye.